Hi everyone, this is Kyle Libby from Techplicity, and today we're going to be talking about getting your pictures from your digital camera onto your computer. But before we actually get to the process of actually transferring the photos, we're going to talk about how to get a program called Picasa that will allow you to do this really easily. And so here's how we are going to get that program. Now, for starters, Picasa is a program. It's a free program that you can get from the internet, and it's made by Google, which is the same company that I'm sure you've heard of that is known for its search engine. And they also own YouTube, which you're actually using to watch this video, and they have a lot of really other great services. But in this case, we're going to be using Picasa. So for starters, what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on Start down here, and then I'm going to click on Internet. So right now I'm opening up my Internet browser, which is the program on your computer that you use to go onto the Internet and go to different websites. And then what I'm going to do is in the address bar, which is that white bar that runs along the top of the screen, I'm going to click once, and all of that text is going to turn blue. And I'm going to type in picasa.google.com and then hit enter on my keyboard. Now I'm brought to the Picasa website, and on the right hand side there's a button that says Download Picasa 3.6, and I'm going to click on that button. And then a little window is going to pop up like this. And then before we continue, I just want to sort of give a short description of what we're doing right now. So right now we just told our internet browser, which in this case I'm using a program called Firefox, we told it that we want to download Picasa. Downloading something is the process of taking it from the internet and then putting it onto your computer. And specifically what we're doing right now is we're downloading something known as a setup file. Sometimes it's referred to as an installation file. And what this is going to let us do is it's going to let us install Picasa onto the computer. Now, installing and downloading are two very different things, and so here's sort of an analogy to think about this. Picture yourself buying a desk from a store like the Home Depot. You go into the store, you see the desk you want, and then usually you'll actually buy a box that contains all the parts that you need to assemble that desk. And then you take that box and bring it home. That right there is sort of like the process of downloading an installation file. You're getting the box that contains all of the parts that you need to put together a program. Now, once you get that box full of parts for your desk home, you take the parts out of the box and you assemble them, and then you have a desk. And that's how it works here. You're getting this installation file, this setup file, which you can think of sort of like a virtual box that contains all of the parts you need to essentially make Picasa. And then once it's on your computer, you open up that virtual box, and then you tell the computer to put all of those pieces together and make Picasa. That's known as installing. You're installing the program onto your computer. You're putting it onto your computer. So downloading is the process of getting the necessary files onto your computer. Installing is the process of taking those files, putting them together, and then actually making the program. Now, just to be clear, you can download other things from the internet, such as pictures, and that analogy that I used about getting the desk doesn't quite hold up there, because right now we're just focused on downloading an installation file. So the difference between installing and downloading, that's specific to installation files. If you're just getting a picture from the internet and you're downloading it, or you're getting it from an email, then all you're doing is you're taking that picture and putting it directly on your computer. There's no installing necessary. Once that picture's on your computer, it's there and you can immediately start looking at it. So that's sort of the short description of what we're doing right now. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell Firefox right here to save this file. So I'm going to click on this button that says Save File. And then a window is going to come up, and it's going to ask me where I want to put this file. So to go back to the desk analogy, when you buy something at the Home Depot or a store like that, you can sometimes have that box delivered right to your house. And in order to have that service, you need to tell the delivery person where you live. You need to give them directions. And that's essentially what we're doing right now with our computer. It's saying that, okay, I'm going to get Picasa, and I'm going to put it onto this computer, but where do you want me to put it? And you can see that it's going to say right now, save in desktop. Now again, the desktop is that location that you see when you turn your computer on. It usually has a picture and some different icons on it. And that's usually the best place to put an installation file because it's very easy to get to. But if you'd like, you can put it in other places. So on the left-hand side here, you have some different places on your computer, such as My Documents, which is sort of like a virtual file cabinet where you can put documents and pictures. But I'm going to leave it set to desktop. And then I'm going to click Save, right down here in the bottom right-hand corner of this window. And now what's going to happen is another window is going to pop up, and this is showing us the progress of the download. So just like it takes some time for the delivery truck to go from Home Depot to your house, it takes a little time to get something from a website onto your computer. And so right now you can see that it's scanning for viruses. That's because I have a antivirus program on my computer, which essentially makes sure that whatever is happening is safe. And so now you can see that it's complete. That progress bar just disappeared. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to close out of this window by clicking on the X. And then I'm going to close out of this window. Now, very quickly, I'm going to show you how this would look in Internet Explorer, which is another very popular internet browser. I'm guessing many of you are probably using this right now, actually. And so here's how it would look in Internet Explorer. I'm going to click on Start, and then Internet Explorer. And then, just like in Firefox, I'm going to go up to the address bar towards the top of the screen here, this long white bar. And I'm going to click in that bar, and I'm going to type in Picasa. Again, Picasa is spelled with an A, so Picasa .google.com. And then I'm going to get a page that looks identical to the page that we saw in Firefox. And I'm going to click Download Picasa 3.6, just like we did earlier. But, unlike with Firefox, nothing happens. So you don't see a window pop up like we saw. It looks like nothing happened. But if you look closely, there's a yellow bar right here that says, to help protect your security, Internet Explorer blocked this site from downloading files to your computer. Click here for options. And so essentially, Internet Explorer is trying to protect your computer because it noticed that something is trying to go onto your computer, and it just wants to make sure that you're aware of this and that you approve of it. And I do, because I'm the one that initiated this. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my cursor over that bar, and this is known as the information bar. And you'll notice that when I do that, it turns blue. And I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to click on Download File. And then a window should pop up in a few seconds, and it's going to give us a few different options, and I'm going to click on Save. So right here where it says Save. And then just like with Firefox, it's going to save it automatically onto the desktop, which is fine by me. That's what I want. And so I would click Save. But of course, since I already did this, I'm not going to continue. I'm going to click Cancel to get out of this. But that's how you would do this in Internet Explorer. So I'll cancel out, and then I'll click the X to close out of this. So now we have this setup icon on the desktop. And as I mentioned, this is basically a virtual box with all of the parts you need to create Picasa. And so what I need to do is I need to open that. Just like I would need to open the cardboard box that has all of the parts for that desk that I bought at Home Depot. So to do that, I'm going to double click on the icon. And depending on your computer, a window may come up asking you for permission to open this file. It will say something along the lines of, "This file was obtained from the internet. Are you sure you want to open it? Are you sure you want to install this?" And you would just click yes. So right now we're initiating what's known as the installation process. So installing something is the process of putting that program onto your computer so you can use it. And this process, sort of the initiation stage, can take a little while. You can see that there's an hourglass next to my cursor, which tells us that the computer is working. Here we go. And so right now what just came up is something called a license agreement. And this is something that's very, very common with really any program you're going to use on the computer. In order to use Picasa, you have to agree to all of these terms. And these are basically sort of legal jargon that's talking about all of the things that you can and can't do with the program, and warranty issues, all kinds of things like that. So this is sort of the fine print. And again, in order to use this program, you have to click I agree. So I'm going to click I agree. And now what we're using right now is something called an installation wizard. It's essentially a set of virtual instructions, kind of like the instructions you would receive with that desk. You open up the box, you see all the parts for the desk, and then you have a sheet of instructions. And with a wizard, you usually have a button in the bottom right-hand corner that has sort of a blue border. And in order to continue to the next step, you usually have to click that button. So I am going to click Install. And now we can see a progress bar. And so these green sort of slots, if you will, right here take some time to install a program onto your computer. Depending on your computer, it may take a few seconds or it may take a few minutes. It really depends on your computer. And what's going to happen after this is complete is we're going to get a screen basically telling us that everything was successful and the program is now on our computer. And so we'll just wait a little while longer, and that window will come up. Alright, so now it says setup was completed successfully. And again, that window is going to come up. So here it comes, okay. Now we have a series of checkboxes right here. The first one means that it's going to put Picasa right onto your desktop so you can open it easily. The second checkbox is I also don't want to use Google as my main search engine in Internet Explorer. I want to decide that for my own. I don't want to send anonymous usage statistics to Google, and I don't want to run Picasa 3 at this point, so I'm going to uncheck those. So right now I just want to create a shortcut on my desktop. And now I'm going to click Finish, and we'll see a shortcut appear on the desktop, and in the next part we'll go over actually using Picasa. So thank you very much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.